Okay, we're here with Robert Navar, a traffic ticket lawyer here in El Paso, Texas. My name is David, and we're going ahead and just going to learn about more of the ins and outs of traffic tickets and traffic ticket law here in El Paso, Texas. Robert, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you, David. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's a pleasure. Well, basically, what we want our audience to know is just kind of like what a traffic ticket lawyer does. So maybe you can kind of explain the ins and outs of that. And maybe if you, let's say I came to you and like, hey, man, I got a traffic ticket. Can you help me? What would you say to me?
Well, first, I would say absolutely I can help you, and I'm glad that you contacted me. It's important that if you get a traffic citation that you try to have it addressed immediately. There are certain time limits that you have to appear to court, and you certainly don't want to miss those time limits and risk having a warrant issued for your arrest. So it's important that you either deal with it yourself or I recommend you contact an attorney who has experience in dealing with traffic tickets. And the benefit for hiring an attorney such as myself is that we go through and handle your case from the beginning to the end so that you don't have to worry about going to court. If you contact my office, we'll take down your information. We'll look to see if, in fact, we can pull that up on the online system, or if not, we will contact the court to get more information, and we'll file an entry of appearance. And what that means is that we're going to be pleading not guilty to your citation, and we're going to also be requesting any and all documents that are in possession of the state, including your copy of your actual citation that you received from the officer, as well as the criminal complaint, which is a charging instrument that they use to formally charge you in a court. Now, it is a Class C misdemeanor. However, it's still a criminal offense. And so it's very important that you deal with these because you don't want it affecting your record. And there's a lot of problems that can happen if you don't deal with a traffic ticket.
Yeah, that's good information to know. So, a lot of people ask me, like, if they get a traffic ticket, can they just kind of just put it in their glove box and ignore it? I can imagine that's just a bad idea. Can you explain what would happen if somebody just ignored a traffic citation that they got pulled over?
Well, yeah, it's a very bad idea because what will happen is normally you have 10 days to 20 days, depending on which court, where you have to go to court and they will ask you to, how do you plead if you want to sign a plea form? You can either plead guilty or not guilty. If you don't show up within that 10 to 20 day time frame from the time that you receive the citation, the court will actually issue another citation, and what they will issue is a citation for violate promise to appear. And basically what the violate promise to appear is that when the officer gave you the citation and asked you to sign it, you were signing verifying that you understood that you were receiving a traffic citation and that if you don't appear in court within the time indicated on the ticket, a warrant for your arrest may be issued. And so what most courts are doing now is if they don't get that response from you, whether you're pleading guilty or not guilty, after the expiration of 20 days, they will go ahead and issue you another citation for violate promise to appear, which will also include with that a warrant for your arrest.
Oh, wow.
So that will just incur additional fines and warrant fees, and that's something you just definitely want to make sure you avoid happening to you.
Yeah, I get it. So when it's a Class C misdemeanor, what kind of stuff like that? You're going to get a warrant, you can get arrested, it could stay on your record. What ways would that affect you? Employment opportunities?
Well,
things like that?
Absolutely, especially very much so employment. Most employers now are doing background checks. If they see that you have an active warrant, obviously that's going to most likely hinder you from getting that job opportunity. The employer will tell you to go ahead and address your warrant before we can seriously consider you. And especially if you're going to be involved in any type of government position, government will do a check, and you absolutely cannot have anything on your record. Government's really looking at your criminal history, your record. Even though it's a traffic ticket, it definitely will come up, and you'll have to address it. And it puts you in a higher risk category as far as an employer wanting to hire you. And the reason why is because they don't want to take the possibility of any potential liability down the road if they hire an individual whom has outstanding tickets or has a history of traffic tickets. If the employee is to ever have gotten involved in any type of an accident, injured somebody, the other injured party can potentially sue the employer for what's called negligent entrustment by hiring that employee knowing or when they knew or should have known that they had a potential dangerous driving record. So it's definitely going to hurt your chances from getting any type of employment.
Okay, that's good information. Let me ask you another question because, in the past I used to get traffic tickets and I would just take like a defensive driving class. Well, what's the benefit of hiring an attorney if I can just go take a defensive driving class?
Well, the benefit for hiring an attorney, of course, is that I have a very good track record for getting tickets dismissed. And there's a very good chance that we can get that dismissed because even if you take the defensive driving course, you are still going to have to pay a court cost, which court costs are approximately, they have gone up as of late, and you're looking at approximately close to $150 just in court cost. Then you have to take the driving class, and most courts require you to do a Texas Certified Approved Driving course. So you're looking at spending more money on taking the class, which is usually 6 to 8 hour class that you'll have to endure, especially if you're busy. It definitely takes time out of your day. So hiring a lawyer such as myself, we can potentially avoid from you ever having to take defensive driving.
Yeah, that's great. Save some time. And your prices are pretty reasonable, right? Like if you were not an attorney, now knowing what you know, would you recommend everybody you know to hire, say you have family out of town, would you ask them to or guide them to hire an attorney to handle their traffic tickets?
Absolutely. And the benefit for hiring an attorney is going to be more experienced and to know what the state is required to prove if you go to trial. All my cases that I take on, I always request a trial. And the reason why I do that is because officers, prosecutors for the district attorney's office, they always make mistakes, and I have become an expert in finding those mistakes and using that to my client's advantage. And so hiring an attorney that has some experience and expertise on what to look for, what questions to ask, how to review the evidence to determine if there's any problems or mistakes that may have been made, which is very often the case. I can bring those up, and I know the appropriate motions to make with the court so that we can try to go ahead and get that dismissed outright so that you don't have to worry about paying court cost, having it go against your record. And so I recommend to everybody that you really should hire an attorney because you don't necessarily want to have to go through the whole process, because it's very intimidating if you're a layperson and you're going to court trying to get information and you're asking them what to do. If you don't have the experience, you're not going to know what to look for. So I would strongly recommend you hire an attorney.
Yeah, leave it to the experts, right?
Yes, absolutely. There's no question about
it. You talked about earlier that if people just ignore their ticket, it could turn into a warrant, lead to an arrest, just create more problems than it needs to be. But what happens to, for example, let's say I did all that, I got a warrant. Can you still help us with that?
Yes, absolutely. So what happens is if you get a warrant because, let's say, you disregarded the ticket, you didn't go to court in time, they issue you another citation plus a warrant. Most of the time what will happen is if you contact the court to try to get your warrant resolved, they're going to make you pay the full amount of the warrant bond. Basically what it is a bond for your arrest. If you pay that bond, you can remain you can remain not being arrested. You can get a chance to go to court, but you're going to have to pay that warrant bond amount, which is generally anywhere from $250 to $500. So you're going to have to pay that at the very outset. And then you're also going to then have to deal not only with the original citation that you received. Let's say you received citation for speeding or failing to signal or running a red light. You're going to have to also deal with a citation that was issued for your not appearing within the 20 days that the ticket citation instructed you to do. That's a separate ticket that you will also have to deal with. And keep in mind that these are Class C misdemeanors, which are punishable by up to $500 in fines. That's not including court cost. So it's very likely that you could end up potentially having to pay thousands of dollars for a ticket that you that has turned into a warrant. But I can definitely help you all with that, and I'd be happy to explain the process of what we do when you do have a warrant.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of money for just a traffic ticket. Sometimes people just don't want to deal with the headache. What if they just decide to just pay the fine directly or, just pay their ticket off? Well, why can't I do something like that?
Well, you can do that, but I strongly recommend that you don't do that, because once you do that, then that becomes a conviction on your record. And that conviction will stay on your record. It will make it very difficult if you are looking for work. An employer is going to likely do a background check, and they'll see that you have a ticket. And that's definitely going to be an issue that you'll have to address with any potential employer. And also, in the state of Texas, they do still suspend licenses for people who have multiple violations. The state, even though they did away with the surcharge program back in 2019, they are still suspending licenses for people who have a poor driving record. So you run the potential of not only affecting your potential future employment by you just paying the fine, you also run the risk that because it's a guilty conviction and it'll stay on your record, that at some point the state of Texas could potentially file what's called a petition to suspend your license.
Okay, wow, that sounds like bad. And usually you'll end up saving more money anyway, even after the lawyer fees, right?
Right, absolutely. And the lawyer fees are very, very reasonable. We probably charge the lowest rates of any attorney in the El Paso County area. We are very competitive. We have a tremendous clientele with a tremendous amount of positive reviews. We do not charge very much, and I'll tell you why we don't charge very much and it's because I love what I do. That's part of the reason why I decided to become a lawyer. Was that when I was a lot younger, before I went to law school, I had gotten pulled over by police officers for minor traffic violations. And having to deal with that and the stress of trying to fight it when you know you possibly may be in the right, and going to court and trying to represent yourself, I realized back then that, first of all, this is what I love to do, is fight these tickets. And also, I think that through my experience, I've actually enjoyed finding the mistakes, because I think that by me doing my job very thoroughly, I'm actually helping police officers to do their job better and to not issue citations when they shouldn't be issuing them. And so that to me has become a tremendous benefit that I enjoy doing. I just love it.
Okay, great. Yeah, it sounds like that. You know, as you're talking, it occurred to me, like, let's say, somebody hires you for their traffic citation. Usually, how long does it take for the whole process for it to resolve itself?
Well, it depends on the court, but for give you approximation, from the time that you hire me, we file an entry of appearance. We request all the documents in the state's custody that they intend to use to prove at trial. We request a trial date, and it depends on the amount of cases that are set for trial by the courts. They set their own cases based on their availability, based on the officers, based on when they can get a prosecutor. So it generally can take anywhere from approximately 3 to 6 months on average. But as a defense lawyer, I will tell you that the longer it takes to get your citation resolved, it's actually maybe to your benefit, because over time, witnesses tend to lose their memory, especially police officers, who is going to be the primary and only witness that may be testifying against you. They oftentimes forget, because these police officers deal with issuing thousands of tickets in a month. And so the longer you push the delay out, generally the better chances are of you actually ultimately eventually getting a dismissal. Now, if you're on a time constraint, let's say you're trying to get a job and your employer wants you to resolve your traffic tickets that are still outstanding, oftentimes we will definitely try to put pressure on the courts to go ahead and give you as quickly as possible a court date, and we will file a motion to expedite your traffic ticket if that is a requirement that you're asking us to do. But if not, I say the benefit is that the longer delay that your citation takes with the courts, the chances are better that you are going to possibly get the citation dismissed, so that you don't have to pay any fines, any court costs, and it won't be on your record.
Great, great. I just got a couple more questions for you before I let you go. I know you're a pretty busy guy. But, obviously you're going to do moving violations like speeding tickets, failure to, signal on a change of lanes. But do you also do like just paper violations, like when people don't have inspection or registration, no insurance, stuff like that?
Yes, absolutely. And you definitely want to hire an attorney for those types of violations, because if you don't deal with a registration citation, not only can you possibly get a warrant issued for your arrest for that, but you also won't be able to register your vehicle. You're likely going to get pulled over again and again and again, and you'll keep getting pulled over, and those tickets will keep stacking up. They'll keep piling up, and you certainly don't want to have the problem of having to deal with thousands of dollars in fines and court costs, and not being able to get your vehicle registered, being able to get a driver's license. An outstanding ticket that becomes into a warrant will put a hold on you having the ability to renew your driver's license. If it expires, you will also get a ticket for that. So those tickets and fines can keep adding up. So you definitely want to hire a lawyer to deal with those paper violations. And I absolutely handle those paper violations. And we've been very successful at getting those dismissed. And just like our traffic tickets, we require the state to prove their case. They have to provide us with all the documents, and oftentimes I can find mistakes in those documents because of my skill and expertise in knowing what to look for, knowing what the state law requires. We can get those expedited, fast-tracked, and very possibly get those dismissed so that you don't have to worry about it, so that those holds are removed, so that you can go and get your vehicle registered, you can get your license renewed. Just simply giving me a call, I can take care of everything. You don't have to worry about putting dates or having to show up to court, or we can handle all that for you, and we have a very good track record in getting those paper violations dismissed, because believe it or not, they do make a lot of mistakes on what they're required to prove. And we find those mistakes, and we get those tickets dismissed for you.
Okay, great. I'm looking at your website here, and it says you guys take care of all Class C misdemeanors, animal control tickets, open containers, and other things as well. That's pretty good to know. Do you also do other cities around El Paso, like Conotillo, Horizon City, Socorro, Clint, Anthony, Vinton?
Yes, we absolutely do. Technically, all those municipalities that you mentioned are still within the El Paso County, Texas. So we can handle anything that's within El Paso County, including Clint, including San Elizario, including Horizon, including Vinton, including Anthony, Texas. Anywhere within El Paso County District, we definitely can handle and help you with that.
Awesome. Okay, so, I'm not a truck driver myself, but I understand if you have a commercial driver's license or a CDL, you're not eligible to take defensive driving. So, obviously, you can't guarantee a dismissal every time, can you?
No, the way the law is right now is they're very, very strict on commercial driver's licenses who get traffic citations. And the reason why is because they have a tremendous greater responsibility, because they're usually the ones that you see on the roadway driving the semis, the 18-wheelers. The state of Texas wants to prevent people from having a license if they have multiple violations or convictions on their record. The state does not want you operating those types of vehicles because they can potentially be very deadly on the road. And employers certainly aren't going to hire a commercial driver if they have anything on their record. So the way the law works, though, unfortunately, is that you can't do any type of deferred disposition so that it doesn't go on your record. The state wants to get a conviction on your record, and the reason why is because they have no other alternatives to offer you as a defense lawyer. The best that they can offer you is a reduced fine. So I handle commercial driver's license tickets a little bit differently in that we will do everything we can to try to get those dismissed. Oftentimes we'll actually end up having to go to a jury trial on those, especially if the officer remembers and there are no mistakes on the documents that the state provides us. And we also handle with the whole appellate process as well, because we understand that commercial driver's licenses cannot have anything affecting their record. And so we have to fight those very, very vigorously, because the state prosecutors, they have a, let's say, a stronger desire to try to prosecute commercial driver's license to the full extent, because they don't want drivers who have anything on their record driving commercial vehicles. And also the other tricky thing with commercial driver's licenses is that they can be in their personal vehicle. And if they're in their personal vehicle and get a citation, that still can potentially affect their commercial driver's license and result in that license getting suspended. And what will happen is, of course, the employer will no longer be able to hire you if you have a suspended commercial driver's license. So if you have a commercial driver's license, which is a Class A type license in Texas, you definitely need to hire a lawyer, because the stakes are very, very high, and you cannot have that go on your record. And you can't go to court and ask for defensive driving. They won't allow it. Your only option is, if you try to represent yourself, they're going to charge you a $500 fine, and it's going to be a guilty conviction on your record, guaranteed.
Wow.
So we have to, you
Definitely
have
got
to
to
hire
fight
an
that.
attorney. Absolutely,
Yeah.
you have to hire an attorney. There's no question about it if you have a commercial driver's license.
Well, Robert, I just want to thank you for your time, and I know your office is El Paso Traffic Ticket Firm, and I know that you just do mostly focus on traffic tickets, so that's good to know. If you people are looking for a traffic ticket attorney here in the El Paso area, I think this is the guy to go to. And I'll go ahead and post his information on this podcast so you can see where his location is, as well as the website and phone number. But Robert, just want to thank you very much for coming on in and doing this interview.
Thank you very much for having me. And please, again, if anybody gets a traffic ticket, please call me, and I guarantee you I will fight for your ticket to the fullest extent. I will use all my abilities, all my skills, all my law knowledge to get your traffic ticket dismissed.
Yeah, I believe that. We're looking at those Google reviews. Anyway, thanks again, and take care, okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.